ARBAAL the Undefeated. What can we do with him? How do we use him? How can we optimally use his abilities to ensure he doesn't become ARBAAL the Little Bitch Defeated? Well, that's what we're going to find out. Come on! So you don't need to be a Warhammer nerd to be able to tell that ARBAAL likes a melee fight. He's got a lot of weapon strength and melee attack, armor piercing, magic attacks as well, boosted up by that frenzy. He's also still very defensive with 120 armor and 55 melee defense is pretty damn good. And obviously you'll want him on his mount as soon as possible because he goes up to 95 speed. In campaign, ARBAAL is all about buffing up the mortal type units, namely the big heavy boys, the heavy armor, the chaos warriors, but namely anything that isn't a demon basically. For his abilities, let's start with Destroyer of Khorne. This comes from his quest item, so you gotta get that first. This is a pretty hefty damage boost that gets stronger the more stuff you kill. So to make the most of this, you'd ideally want to kill stuff that's easy to kill so that you can get stronger and then kill the harder stuff. One good way you can use ARBAAL if you don't have anything to disrupt missiles with, he can be good for that because he is very quick and you can kill those archers for some easy free kills. Just be careful he doesn't follow them around like this instead of actually killing them. If they do gather around you though, by all means chop their faces off, increase the intensity of your Destroyer of Khorne skill whilst barely taking any damage in return. However, this isn't really the most optimal use of this ability because of one of his other abilities. Thirst for Challenge. This is another increasing damage boost and defense boost with the melee defense that gets stronger with each enemy entity in range. So when you're using ARBAAL to take out missile units away from the main army, you're not greatly benefiting from Thirst for Challenge. So the ideal target would be a low tier, easy to kill infantry right in the thick of the army. Whatever is the most chappiest, cheapest, crappiest unit, send ARBAAL after it for some easy kills and get him stronger. Basically, the man just loves being in the thick of it. And what this is going to do is make Thirst for Challenge and Destroyer of Khorne work hand in hand. You see right now he's at 100%, so he's doing more damage, which is going to make him kill faster, which is going to make Destroyer of Khorne go up faster as well. It's a win-win. So early on, look for those big clumps of enemies, look for those lighter, easier to kill troops, so that you can power him up to deal with the harder stuff a little later in the battle. In some situations though, maybe there isn't a good target, maybe there's halberds that are armor piercing and anti-large, or great swords that are armor piercing, not great first targets for you to get lots of kills on, so you might need to seek out some of the weaker stuff, even if it's going to take you a bit longer to get Destroyer of Khorne up. Not that of course he can't take on the harder stuff early on, but if we can get him juiced out of his mind before he's really taken any damage, he's going to be more effective in the battle overall. And then he's got the Fury of the Blood God ability. This is an explosion, but he can't move for the few seconds that he's kind of casting it. It takes a few seconds to wind up. It's not instant like some of these explosions are, but these kind of abilities are very handy for getting yourself out of trouble, so that's one way you can use it. If you're stuck in the thick of it like this and you need to get out, a quick explosion will clear a path for you to escape. Obviously, you're a Khorne guy, you don't really want to escape most of the time, but if a couple of lords and heroes come after you, you might be in trouble, so you might need to get out of there. But obviously, this is an explosion, and explosions are good for killing stuff, so use it when you're in a crowd to rack up a few extra kills, and that again is going to help with the Destroyer of Khorne ability, making him stronger. If there is a particularly dangerous lord or hero on the field that you're worried about, maybe you'll want to save it to get away from them if necessary, otherwise just use it to blow up that lower tier stuff to get those extra kills. You can decrease its cooldown time with a skill point as well. And then we've got his most unique ability, the Eye of Khorne. This will turn an enemy unit into a unit of Chaos Spawn that you can get to do your bidding. So with this, any enemy unit that isn't a lord or hero, you can turn them into a unit of Chaos Spawn once they've reached 20% health or below. And then yeah, quite simply, you get a free unit of Chaos Spawn to do what you want with. They are a degrading over time unit though, like a summon, so they're not going to be there forever, they're going to last a minute or two, and then they're off skis. And like I say, it's only lords and heroes that are safe from this, so even a single entity monster, monstrous infantry, cavalry, you can all turn those into Chaos Spawn, which means this ability kind of also acts as like an execution. Once a unit hits 20% health, they're done. Which could be quite significant because elite units could still do quite a lot with 20% health. Demigryphs, Blackhawks, a Dread Saurian, even if those units rout and then come back, they could still be pretty dangerous, and you take that away with this ability. So that got me to wondering, is it best to only use this on elite units, or is it good to use it on a lesser unit and have them attack the elite unit? So here I've got a unit of Black Orcs and a unit of Goblins, the Goblins taking on Exalted Bloodletters, who they're obviously going to get destroyed by, which means we can turn them into Chaos Spawn in a minute, while the Black Orcs are facing my Marauders, who they are obviously going to beat. So we smash those Gobbos to bits, get them down to 20% health, turn them into Chaos Spawn, and then send them after the Black Orcs. At this point, the Bloodletters have barely lost any health, and hopefully they won't have to fight the Black Orcs as they'll get routed by the Chaos Spawn. And eventually that is going to happen. The Black Orcs are gone, we used the Chaos Spawn, they're about to run out and die. The Bloodletters still completely fresh though, so they could go on to do a load more killing. With the expense being we lost the Chaos Marauders. And what about if we did it the other way? The Bloodletters taking on the Black Orcs first, the Marauders beating up the Goblins, who they will beat, so we don't really need to get involved in that fight. But the Bloodletters, they will beat the Black Orcs, but they are going to take a fair bit of damage in the process. And eventually they do get that done, the Black Orcs start routing, and then we can execute them, turn them into Chaos Spawn, and we've got those to use wherever we please. The end result being we've got a half-dead unit of Chaos Marauders, a half-dead unit of Bloodletters, and a unit of Chaos Spawn to temporarily use. So which is more optimal? Honestly, I can't decide. A full health unit of Bloodletters can certainly get a lot done, more than a half health unit of Bloodletters and a half health unit of Marauders, but then you've got the Chaos Spawn to make up that lost damage, so it's probably kind of even. I think it'll be more of a situational thing. If there's a lot of heavy armor, then Chaos Spawn aren't going to be as much use as Exalted Bloodletters would be, so you should protect the Bloodletters. But if there's a lot of lightly armored stuff, the Chaos Spawn are going to do well because they don't have armor piercing, and the Marauders will do a little better. But honestly, I think that's just overthinking it. It doesn't require that much thought. Just use it where you can. It'll probably do some good work. So yeah, there's 2 minutes of your life that you can't get back, they're mine now. In campaign, there's a few extra skill point abilities you can get as well. Revels in Carnage, this will give you the discouraged effect on your melee attack. Minus 16 leadership, that's pretty huge. If you team that up with an attacked in the rear penalty, that's nearly 30 leadership gone right there. And you can give ARBAAL Terror with this Unbreakable Host ability as well. And that, coupled up with his ridiculous speed, is going to make him pretty terrifying, especially in the late game. You can just charge him round and get anywhere near stuff that's 13 leadership or below, and he'll just run away because of the terror. Especially powerful against those low leadership kind of factions. And then you've also got Bloodthirst. This is a speed boost, charge speed boost, and charge bonus boost. A pretty hefty 40% on the charge bonus as well, which is nasty. So pretty obviously, just use this one as you're about to charge into stuff. You'll do some extra damage. Could also be good for getting away from stuff though. The speed boost could get you out of trouble. And then you've also got this Deathbringer ability, which is just a nice little damage boost. Again, that could serve in multiple situations. You could use it early on to kill stuff a bit quicker. That's going to make Destroyer of Khorne go up faster. You could save it for when you fight particularly tough enemies, lords or heroes, single entity monsters. He's got enough melee attack, weapon strength, and defenses to take just about anything on, really. And depending on the enemy, once you've got him juiced up to the gills, he'll probably be able to take him out pretty quick. So to summarize ARBAAL overall, he's an absolute melee damage powerhouse that is going to thrive in the thick of combat. If you can find some chaffy, easy to kill infantry early on in the battle, that's going to be the best bet to get Destroyer of Khorne up and make you stronger, as long as you're near a crowd, making use of Thirst for Challenge as well. ARBAAL's crazy speed though means he could be good for harassing missile units and stopping them from firing if that's something you need, or chasing down lords and heroes and getting after them and taking them on, preferably once you've got him beefed up from Destroyer of Khorne though. You've also got the explosion ability for a few extra kills or a good way to get out of trouble, and Eye of Khorne so you can create some Chaos Spawn and do whatever the hell you like with them. Oh, and the man is absolutely terrifying, so charge him around all over the place and break everyone's leadership. I think we're starting to understand why he's undefeated. And there we go. I hope you've enjoyed this. Thanks for watching. Do consider checking out the channel memberships or the Patreon if you'd like to support the channel. Otherwise, I will see you in the future.